Hey guys, Scanner Danner here. I want to say a special thank you to my community. We had an issue with the RV, and a lot of you know this already because I posted a question to get help. I was stuck in the mountains trying to get home. I was at the campsite, so we were good there, but I just want to do a real quick rehash of what we found, what we did, and then maybe someone can learn something from this. Although I have to say right up front, this is not a how-to video. This is a Danner got bailed out by his subscribers video. So that's what we're doing here real quick. First symptom I had when I was driving this to the campsite is my parking brake started to whistle very loudly. And I pulled over. At the time, I didn't notice my air pressure dropping or anything like that. Just heard that whistling sound from my parking brake. So I pulled over. I pushed on the parking brake, released it, twisted it a little bit, got rid of the noise. No big deal. Kept driving. It wasn't until I got off the highway, started on some local roads right before I got to the campsite, that I noticed the RV started bouncing. And that's when I looked down at my air pressure gauge, and I was under 90 PSI, and I have never seen it under 90. And as I was continuing down the road, got lower and lower. It hit about 65 right when I pulled up to the campground, and as I was maneuvering into a spot, it dropped below 60, the buzzer went off, and it actually popped the parking brake automatically because of low pressure. So what I noticed sitting there when I pulled the parking brake on, that trying to think of the way the air is, parking brake on, when I pulled the lever to apply the parking brakes, which is a spring, so it cuts air from them, makes sense, my air pressure would build back up. And then when I'd push the parking brakes off, which is going to put air to those chambers, I noticed that my pressure would drop. And so I knew I had a leak within my parking brake system. I focused right away on the valve up front. And the reason I did that is I heard some hissing from this valve. And when I would take the yellow knob and I would twist it, turn it, I could make the hissing change pitch. And I was convinced that it was my valve up front. And I called a local truck shop. I need to give these guys props. It is www.cumberlandtruck.com. That's CumberlandTruck, Cumberland Truck, one word, .com. And the guy's name that helped me out was Junior. Junior helped me out. Props to Junior and Cumberland Truck. This was in Uniontown. They had the part that I needed the next day, which was the new valve. I thought it was the valve. Incorrect call. Scanner Danner, the parts changer, made a bad call on the parking brake valve. It was not the valve, guys. Once I replaced the valve, I realized the heavy hissing I was hearing from the valve when I would, it's weird. Parking brakes are weird on these air. So no air is parking brakes are on. With air, parking brakes are off. So when I had the parking brake off, where we're applying air to the rear chamber, there was a ton of airflow through the valve. And what I ended up finding is my right rear brake chamber diaphragm, the parking brake part, was torn. I was able to catch that with the valve in the release position. So with the valve pushed in, I went out of the truck, and then I heard all the hissing outside, found my location. So now what do? That's when I posted to you guys, hey, help, I got air coming out of these holes. What's that mean? Torn diaphragm. Same truck company. I give them a call. They have the parts I need in stock. So again, props to them. You guys can take a look at the parts prices here too. I have pictures of them. One is $42. So each one of these brake chambers were $42. So I ended up buying two of them because why wouldn't I? I'm going to end up having to do the other side. So with, again, help from you guys and my friend Jeff Compton, who I got on the phone and was talking to, we did some measurements on the old pod. Once I got the pod off, which, by the way, I was using a crescent wrench, like a 1.5 foot long crescent wrench, and I had trouble getting the bolts off. I'm an auto guy, didn't have anything bigger than a 22 millimeter wrench with me. Fortunately, my adjustable wrench did the trick. I was pushing on this thing with my feet, and it was not fun, but I did get everything loose with advice from my friend Jeff and from YouTube. Go figure, watching a YouTube video, I learned how to cage this chamber so I could compress the parking brake spring, which allowed me to get the pins out of the mechanism. What's the fork piece called? There's a specific name for it, but I was able to do that, change the part. The new piece had a real long bolt that needed to be cut, and so we took a measurement of that. You can see in this picture that the original one we measured was 4 inches from the base, and then what we needed to do is the base area and the mechanism inside were not level. So with the new one, it was flush against it, and with the old one, it was 3/4 of an inch lower than the upper housing. So we took a measurement down inside with this piece of paper that you're looking at. We took that, it was 3/4 of an inch, and we added that to the new threads. So the new one we cut at 4 inches, 4 3/4 inches is where we cut it. You can see this line we scribed. I used a Dremel, a cutoff tool, and then I ended up having to cage the new chamber to get it back on to fit the pins, and everything worked great there. So the new bolt was 4 3/4 of an inch away from the housing to take up for the 3/4 of an inch sunk or countersunk piece from the old one. I don't know the terms of the internal, the diaphragm inside or the plate inside. And then the concern for me in bolting everything back up was, would my brakes be applied when they shouldn't be, with the parking brake in particular? And then this clip really shows us that that did not happen. All right, step on the brake. Let off. Pull the, hold on. Right by your feet. Take the Allen key until I put the yellow piece back on.
Oh, and
put that through there.
Oh, this is the e-brake?
Yeah, that's your parking brake.
All right, and you want
I
me to
said
pull
e-brake. Yeah, but don't pull on the
I know.
hoses. Yeah, pull that. Good.
Yep.
See if my parking brake holds. All right, push it in. Pull it back out. Nice. Okay. So you can see that the parking brake mechanism worked perfectly. And then I had texted my friend Jeff again, and I said, what's the final piece I need to do? And there's a travel of the service brake where it should be between, he gave me a maximum number. It was like 1 3/4 to 2.5 inches is the maximum travel of that cam. So we're doing a final travel check. Air pressure is good. We could do this probably with the engine off so you can hear me. We just need to make sure our air pressure is over 90 for this test.
All right, so
Okay.
you want me to turn the...
So let's shut it off. And then I'm just going to go underneath and take a measurement.
Do you want key on?
It doesn't matter for this. By the way, I am being safe right now. The parking brake is off, and we have the wheels chalked, and we already tested it. It does not drift. Okay, Caleb, hit the brake. Let off. Let's see how much travel we got there. So 3.5
Good, hit it. 2, about 2.5. Okay. I think that's good.
And you can see in this clip that what we're looking at is about 1 inch of travel. So as you're watching this, you can see the pin on the end where my tape measure is, and watch it whenever Caleb's applying the brake, and you see we have about 1 inch of travel. So I think I got everything. I'm sure there's more. I know that some of you may have some questions. I don't know that I can answer them. One of my own is the 1 inch of travel I have good? Is that okay? Do I have to do anything else with it? And I have to say, on the way home, it felt wonderful. The brakes felt fine. No issues whatsoever. I am now home, and I have an extra brake chamber to change, which we'll do later. So again, I wanted to thank all of you for just helping me out, jumping in, having your comments there. Really, really awesome to have my community with me when I need you. So just thanks again, guys, and hope you enjoyed this little video.